Welcome to 3 Words Can Stop a Scam, a basic survival podcast for anyone looking to avoid scams and deceptive marketing. I'm Dave Grillo. For 20 years, I coordinated a consumer awareness and fraud prevention program for the Shrewsbury Council on Aging in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. I now volunteer for a senior citizen fraud helpline. I am not a professional, but I do obsess over how I can help keep fraud and scams from hurting people, especially the innocent and vulnerable. Maybe, through this podcast, I'll even help you. Episode 1 will introduce the 3 words and explain their importance. Subsequent podcast episodes will discuss the things that we all do to get ourselves in trouble. And I will specifically look at how we are tricked while watching television, while using our phones and the internet, when we answer the door, look at our mail, when we donate, and when we invest. I believe that just 3 words can help you to be safer. So please join me as I offer a simple guide to avoiding scams and deceptive marketing. Episode 6, Investing and Money Matters. I'll confess, I have invested in stocks and failed miserably. I've made all the mistakes. I heard of a stock that was doing great. A lot of people had made a lot of money by investing in it. So I took the plunge. I thought, why not me? Of course, I had heard about it through news reports, and only after its price had been run up by informed players who grabbed it early and who knew it had great promise, either through experience, insider knowledge, or by passively riding the wave of their employment perk in a successful startup. I invested this way 4 or 5 times. I was a victim of greed, but my blind spot was that I didn't really understand how this whole investing thing worked. And eventually, I sold all of those stocks because they either flatlined or they dropped, then dropped more. I cut my losses each time and eventually had to admit that this wasn't the way to go for me. Unless we know what we are doing, investing is like gambling. It's a game of chance, not skill. Clearly, beyond the inner chambers of the Wall Street elite, the rest of us usually invest by relying on financial news reports, magazines, CNBC, or online specialty sources. Or we hire financial advisors. And a lot of people, unlike me, actually end up doing well. But I'm not sure that the amateur investor in individual stocks who does well is as much a competent investor as he or she is a lucky reactionary. After all, unless we are one of the professionals who is creating and managing the stock market, we must rely on news sources or paid advisors who may or may not have our best interests in mind. And they may not invest or manage our money in ways that make us money. There are no guarantees. But magazines still have subscription or per issue fees on which they make income, and advisors charge for their services. So they survive regardless of how well or poorly we do. Hey, they have to eat too. So when I look to the 3 words that can stop a scam, I find some guidance. The first word, stop, informs me to not act in the moment, especially on something I don't understand. The second word, verify, drives me to see if that hot stock is something that has potential staying power or is more likely to be a flash in the pan. I'll get a better sense of that through my research. I'll use resources, the third word, to do that research. And this is what my research has taught me. Rely on people and methods that have stood the test of time. Some of you may have heard of Warren Buffett, the legendary investor. Mr. Buffett is chairman and CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, a large enterprise with a renowned reputation for investing in and buying successful companies. Even at 92 years old, his advice is sought by the wealthy and common investor alike. His secret? He only invests in companies that he understands. He understands Coca-Cola, he understands Dairy Queen, and a whole host of other companies, so much so that he bought them. Remarkably, he has avoided technology, but only because he doesn't understand how tech companies work. Warren Buffett has convinced me that few people have the time or the inclination to know the businesses they invest in. Therefore, rather than invest in individual stocks, he believes that diversification is the best investment method for most of us. Diversification is achieved by choosing low-cost index funds at low-expense investment companies like Fidelity, Vanguard, or Schwab. In fact, he has instructed that his estate be invested principally in index funds. Mr. Buffett advises that we keep a long-term perspective. In other words, invest, leave it alone, and watch it grow. And ride the ups and downs of the stock market. Don't panic and sell when things go down because they will go back up. Warren Buffett has known what he has been doing for a long time. That is verified. Another guy to listen to, Burton Malkiel, who just published the 50th edition of his prized book, A Random Walk Down Wall Street. At 91 years old, a year younger than Warren Buffett, his investment advice is similar and, in my opinion, equally relevant. Like Buffett, Mr. Malkiel believes that individual investors will do best by avoiding picking individual stocks. Low-cost index funds are the way to go. Try to find funds with zero commissions and low fees. Buy them and then hold them through market ups and downs. Avoid trends like cryptocurrency, NFTs, which are also known as non-fungible tokens, and trading sites like Reddit that encourage frequent trading. Mr. Malkiel cites greed, fear, and lack of knowledge as the investor's enemies. He is definitely telling my story. But if after all this, you still are determined to buy individual stocks, he suggests that you do so with money that you can afford to lose. Index funds are kind of a way that investment companies admit that they don't really know when stocks will succeed or fail. So, through index funds, they offer us a way to buy a lot of stocks, as well as bonds and other securities that they bundle together in order to steady our investment ride, with winners balancing out and hopefully exceeding losers over time. And because the professionals managing them are not doing so actively, they are cheap to buy and hold on to. Burton Malkiel doesn't discourage us from hiring financial planners or advisors to guide our investing or to manage our money, but he does offer perspective. Most people who provide investment advice are beaten by the indexes in any given year. For sure, they have occasional success, which leads to headlines, which leads to reputations, which leads to paying clients. But over time, it is tough to maintain their success. Diversification through index funds has proven to be more reliable because nobody can predict the stock market in the long run. Investment giant Vanguard, built on the concept of low-cost index investing, is a testament to this philosophy. Okay, so you want to invest, but you still don't feel comfortable doing it yourself and would like help. Big investment firms like Fidelity, Vanguard, and Schwab offer low-cost, packaged index fund options that they will gladly explain, differentiate, and help you invest in. But what if you want more? like help managing your money beyond just where to invest it, help creating a budget, help saving for retirement, for healthcare emergencies, and for all possible future expenses. The resources I trust consistently recommend a fee-only, not fee-based, but fee-only fiduciary financial advisor or fee-only certified financial planner. Fiduciary is spelled F-I-D-U-C-I-A-R-Y. Fee-only fiduciary financial advisors and planners are legally bound to put the best interests of their clients first. They don't sell products or steer clients to ones that they have an interest in. The fiduciary standard, which you should ask about and get in writing, separates these professionals from others who mostly follow a suitability standard, which loosely considers what is best for you. How do you find a fee-only personal financial advisor who is a fiduciary? The National Association of Personal Financial Advisors website is napfa.org. Plug in your area code on the website to find local professionals or call 888-333-6659. Certified financial planners who meet the fiduciary standard can be found on the website letsmakeaplan.org. Interview a few advisors, ask about their experience and expertise, pick one who listens to you, who seems generally interested in how you want your life to unfold. Be wary of professionals with other titles or qualifications. Broker-dealers, stockbrokers, and insurance agents are generally not fiduciaries. I'm not saying that they won't do right by you, but the suitability standard they follow affords them great flexibility to benefit themselves with commission-based products that don't prioritize fulfilling your needs above their own. A helpful guide entitled How to Hire a Fiduciary can be found on the website clark.com. That's CLARK.com. Just type How to Hire a Fiduciary in the search box. Also, check with either your state's Attorney General's office or your Secretary of State's Securities Division to see if the person you wish to hire is registered to do business in your state and if any action has been taken against this person. If you are comfortable with investing and managing your money, you regularly practice the 3 words: stop, verify, resources. What I have said so far may or may not fit for you. I only worry for those who are lost when it comes to managing their personal finances, because I know that the financial industry is clever at reaching out to them and exploiting their fears. Take, for instance, radio financial shows, often disguised as regular station programming. I followed several over the years. Members of various financial planning firms would come on the air regularly, usually on the weekends, to give advice, answer caller questions, and offer additional assistance back at their places of business. But they weren't sponsored by the radio station. All of the ones I listened to, I eventually realized were actually marketing seminars paid for by the show's hosts, intended to promote business. This proved to be a great way to reach the financially unsophisticated. But I still listened, somewhat knowing my limitations. I decided to meet with the hosts of one of these shows. They emphasize techniques to not lose money versus ways to invest for gain. Nice people, beautiful offices. Their focus was principally how stock market crashes could devastate one's financial future. As long as I was willing to hand over a majority of my 401k account balance for them to place in annuities which are high commission insurance products, not an investment, the sessions were cordial. Once I started to seriously question that strategy, things grew contentious. I was actually scolded for being an example of how someone with a little information is dangerous. Now, these were the same guys who were so gracious on the radio. Their mood changed drastically. I may not know much, but I knew enough to leave with my 401k intact. This experience helped solidify my belief in fee-only fiduciary advisors and planners. TV channels like CNBC can be very informative. Hour by hour, they seek to make the mundane interesting. As a result, apart from education, they spend a lot of time highlighting stocks that are hot and those that are failing. The problem for the common investor who is watching is that too often they learn to become frequent traders in and out of stocks and other securities based on the day's news, which can result in long-term failure. Financial magazines can have the same negative impact with their monthly updates on what to invest in now. If TV viewers and publication readers are fortunate enough to be paying attention mostly to segments and articles that focus on having a plan and sticking with it, they are best served. But content providers don't have an ongoing show or publication if they just say, diversify and hold. In episode 4, I discussed those free dinner seminars where financial advice is offered. I suggest you go back and listen again to that segment since it pertains to investing, the focus of this episode. My suggested takeaway is that if you should go, enjoy the dinner, make no decisions during the event, and seek out a fee-only, not fee-based, but fee-only fiduciary personal financial advisor or certified financial planner if you want further assistance. With investing in money matters, psychology comes into play. The fear of missing out will drive many of us to pursue all types of things labeled as no risk, or what's hot now, or the next big thing, or above market guaranteed returns. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are built on the fear of missing out. So are scams. Beware. TV commercials that serenade while offering easy-to-get loans and cash settlements should be heavily scrutinized. Granted, it's nice when things are easy to do, but easy can also mean very poor terms. It often does. The details always matter. Banks, especially the big ones, offer the convenience of nationwide branches, vast ATM networks, and a wide range of services. As for-profit businesses, their primary obligation is to their investors, not their customers. Credit unions, on the other hand, are nonprofit. Their primary obligation is to members, which is what their customers are called. Generally, you'll find less product offerings and fewer online options at credit unions. But credit unions tend to have most of the products and services you really need, with better rates on loans, fewer fees, and lower balance requirements. Banks do offer a lot, but credit unions offer enough for enough of us to make it worth our while to compare rates, fees, products, terms, and especially customer service. Member service, that is, with credit unions. Okay, if you're totally lost trying to manage your money and your inability to create a budget or even pay your bills has gotten you into trouble, there are options. The National Foundation for Credit Counseling offers certified credit counseling to anyone who needs help with bills and other money matters. Help is confidential, and counselors can set up payment plans with creditors to help you get back on track. The website is nfcc.org, and the phone number is 800-388-2227. Oh, and one more thing. Many self-described debt settlement companies are actually scams. Stick with the National Foundation for Credit Counseling for help with your debt. You might also consider a representative payee. Payee is spelled P-A-Y-E-E. A representative payee is a trained advocate who manages your bills and possibly your budget. This person has been screened, and you designate this person to handle your financial matters by informing financial institutions and government agencies like Social Security of the representative payee's legal standing with you. Area agencies on aging, local community action agencies, and United Way representative payee referral programs are places where you can find these helpers. Hopefully, I have given you some useful ideas on investing and managing your money. Again, I am not a professional, and no doubt some who call themselves professionals will be offended by this episode. But this wasn't meant for them. With your best interest in mind, I have highlighted what I have found to be true, especially since my failed days as an amateur stock picker. Next time, charities, subscriptions, and some other things.